We're dedicating this session to exploring a collection of highly effective dietary strategies, diets, plural, specifically tailored for individuals managing cancer. It's an unfortunate reality that when people consult their physicians about what to consume during treatment, the advice often heard is, it makes no difference. Just eat what you like. In my view, this guidance is profoundly mistaken. The food choices you make have a critical binary impact. They will either fuel the cancer's growth or actively work to starve it. Let me be perfectly clear. I am not promoting or selling any particular nutritional plan, product, or supplement. It is mandatory that you consult with your healthcare provider before integrating any of the protocols I'm about to share. I also anticipate some viewers might challenge my qualifications in this area. For those interested, I have provided links below to several research papers I've contributed to, which I believe offer solid evidence supporting this information. If anyone attempts to dissuade you from even researching these concepts, ask them a direct question. Do you have a superior, proven solution for cancer? The current crisis in oncology is defined by dreadful statistics. Despite spending colossal sums, trillions of dollars, the problem remains unsolved. The treatment related mortality figures have barely shifted over the past few decades. With that groundwork laid, let's look at two crucial facts about cancer. First, cancer is profoundly heterogeneous, a term derived from the Greek hetero, different, and genes, kind or type. This means it is not a single ailment, but a vast spectrum of diseases. Second, the cancer cell itself is extremely vulnerable and metabolically distressed. It's essentially living on the edge. These cells originated from normal cells, but were forced into a Plan B survival mode when their mitochondria suffered damage. Our entire goal in understanding this mechanism is to pinpoint the vulnerable areas, the critical weak links that we can strategically exploit. We can implement various therapeutic approaches, such as increasing cellular oxygenation, to directly stress and kill cancer. Methods like hyperbaric oxygen therapy or even intense exercise flood the body with oxygen, which creates a reactive oxygen species ROS response that can damage the cancer cell. It's also vital to recognize that cancer is prone to metastasizing into areas of chronic inflammation and low oxygenation. Furthermore, a core defense mechanism of cancer is its constant evasion of our immune system, which naturally deploys specialized cells to destroy malignancies. This underscores a key issue with traditional chemotherapy. While it eliminates cancer cells, it simultaneously degrades a significant part of the immune system. Therefore, strengthening and deeply understanding our immune defenses must be a central part of the overall strategy. A quick but critical note: vitamin D plays a crucial role in immune function. Intriguingly, cancer cells have a tendency to block the vitamin D receptors, suggesting they recognize its anti survival effect. Given this resistance, maintaining vitamin D blood levels significantly above the standard range may be necessary to overcome the cancer imposed blockades. Moving to the metabolic strategy, different types of cancer rely on various fuels for survival. For instance, a particular tumor type might primarily depend on glucose. This fact provides us with a clear tactical advantage. If we know the cancer type and its genetic makeup, we can identify its primary fuel source and then initiate a tailored starvation protocol. This is the fundamental premise behind the specific diets we will discuss. While the vast majority of rapidly proliferating cancers thrive on both glucose and the amino acid glutamine, some have different dependencies. Here is the complex reality. If you begin to starve a tumor of one type of fuel while maintaining the same nutritional intake, the cancer will eventually adapt to use an alternate source. Some cancers, especially those sensitive to hormones, can utilize lipids, fats, while others subsist on branched chain amino acids, BCAAs. I must also share a point that is often controversial. Despite widespread belief, and with much reluctance, certain advanced stage cancers can and will metabolize and use ketones, the fat-derived fuel, to construct their cell membranes. This tendency for adaptation means a singular approach is insufficient. A multi-pronged strategy is essential due to the cancer's overwhelming drive to survive. This is analogous to antibiotic resistance. where chemotherapy and radiation may kill most cells, but a few remain, becoming highly resilient and supercharged. Again, I am absolutely not advising against conventional treatments like chemo or radiation. You must determine that path with your physician. What I am presenting is a powerful adjunct, a set of actions that can be implemented alongside or instead of those therapies. The key intervention is dietary rotation. By periodically changing your diet, you can prevent the cancer from ever fully adapting and lock it into a state of perpetual starvation. Furthermore, I strongly advocate for intermittent fasting, IF, specifically 2 meals or even 1 meal per day. Fasting powerfully restricts the fuel and resources available to cancer cells while simultaneously launching the body's repair and rejuvenation process known as autophagy, which recycles old, damaged tissues. Critically, the foods in these rotating diets have been selected not just for their lack of cancer fuel, but also for their inherent anti cancer properties. Now, let's move to the practical application. To avoid an 8-hour exposition covering every nuance, I've created a comprehensive, free, downloadable document detailing every specific plan, food, and rotation schedule. I will provide the core concept here. As established, cancers are fueled by glucose, glutamine, lipids, BCAAs, and in aggressive late stages, even ketones. For instance, aggressive cancers like glioblastoma, colorectal, breast, lung, and cervical cancers all exhibit a strong dependency on glucose. Different types of breast cancer, for example, may fall into different fuel dependency categories, which is why a genetic profile is so valuable. Our rotational approach directly addresses the tumor's heterogeneity, the fact that a single tumor might contain both glucose dependent and glutamine dependent cells. For cancers that rely heavily on these two fuels, you begin with the anti glucose diet, essentially a ketogenic diet, for a 10 to 14-day window. This is immediately followed by a transition to the anti-glutamine diet, primarily plant-based, for 4 to 5 days before cycling back to the start. The goal is to continuously starve different subsets of cells, preventing them from establishing a permanent foothold. Other cancers require distinct schedules. A melanoma protocol might start with anti-glucose for 5 to 7 days, followed by anti-glutamine for 7 to 10 days. For prostate cancer, which can use lipids, a very brief 2 3 day anti glucose period precedes the anti lipid diet, which is low fat but allows for beneficial anti cancer fats like omega 3s. Liver cancer, which uses BCAAs, requires a switch from a 5 to 7 day anti glucose period to the anti BCAA diet, a complex plant heavy plan. It is crucial to note that the diet recommended for prevention, a healthy ketogenic approach combined with intermittent fasting, is fundamentally distinct from the intensive diets required for active treatment. Regarding the controversy surrounding ketones, the research shows aggressive late stage cancers can adapt to use this fuel. Consequently, for the most advanced cases, rotation might shift to the anti glutamine and an anti ketone plant based diet, sometimes needing a very brief 1 to 3 day consumption of protein to prevent systemic depletion before returning to the rotation. Interestingly, this differs from the results seen with prolonged fasting, where extended fasts, even a month or longer, have been documented to eradicate advanced stage cancer despite the body generating ketones. As core additions, I highly recommend using key supplements designed to specifically block the cancer's various fuel sources. Maximize your vitamin D blood levels, aiming for 90 to 100 nanograms per milliliter through targeted supplementation and sun exposure. Regular exercise is non negotiable for its therapeutic boost to oxygen and mitochondrial health, which directly helps kill cancer cells. Regarding fasting, a standard 2 or 1 meal per day schedule should be your baseline. For prolonged fasting, the most strategic approach is to fast for 24, 48, or 72 hours or even longer erratically, doing this once or twice every 2 to 3 weeks. By varying the duration and timing, e.g., a 48-hour fast, 2 weeks later, a 72-hour fast, 1 week later, a 5 day fast, you create a tactical advantage by preventing the cancer from adapting to any predictable pattern. I understand this may be overwhelming, but the free download in the description simplifies everything for you and your physician. Lastly, I urge you to watch my essential video on the best diet for preventing cancer, linked right here.